Hello, hello, hello. Today it will be in English, and I'm looking forward to going to take something nice and warm for my belly. I will. I speak English, maybe not the best kind of English, but it doesn't matter because it's the energy that is important. And um, my husband told me this morning, yeah, people want to know what you're doing. They want to listen to your podcast, but it's in Dutch. And he works with a lot of people around the world. And he said, can you please do one in English? And I thought, yeah, why not? If it's a challenge, I'm up for it. Um, Especially this kind of challenge. So maybe I will look my words, try to find a good word, a better word. Maybe my sentence will not be okay or my pronouncements. But here I am. So, hi, I am Lise, and I have my own company, Unfold. Unfold. And it stands for a lot of time when I was 17 years old. I took my bags and I left my house. I went away. It was too much. And I was like the parent for a lot of tasks in the house, in my family, and I chose for myself. So back to it, only a few things I left. And so I went to search for the world, to search for who am I, who is Lise? And while doing that, I learned a lot through during my education that if I wanted to grow, I had to unfold. I had to take a lot of things in and in and in. Like during my education, I just hurt myself constantly with all the things I learned. I had a lot of psychology classes. I had like philosophy. It was so good for me. I learned so much more than the small village I came from, the small place I came from, the um, very small world I grew up in. So I grew up in, and it was like, I learned to put myself like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So I really did that. The other students said, oh no, we have to reflect about ourselves again. And I was like, oh yeah, let's do this, let's do that. And that's where I learned, if you want to grow, you have to go inside the world, you have to go outside into the world, and you have to take a lot. You have to find soul food, and I did that. But then life started to happen, you know, again and again and again and again, and I was like so angry and sad, and I didn't know what was happening. I had a good education. I was building a stable life. I had a family. I went to the therapist, not for years, not every week, and I have breaks, but I went there. I talked about it. I get more insight. So I didn't know what was happening. Um, then life through obstacles and mirrors and more things, traumas again and again. And I was like, what the hell? And also, I felt how I was taking my family with me because, I'm a mom. So my kids were like infected by what I was doing, you know. My husband, he were like a team, so everything I do infects him too. And sometimes I hurted him, sometimes I pushed him away, sometimes I was so needy. It was like constantly like in which mood is Lead, and what how it affected it the whole family. And then one that day, the mirrors, the traumas became so big. It became so intrusive, so invasive for me that I just felt like energetically, I fell into what for me felt it is million of pieces. I just realized, I just, I still feel the moment that my body did like that. And it was like, oh, and it was a terrible moment. And I still feel the pain, but it was the most precious moment in my life because apparently I needed that moment to make a switch. Apparently, I needed that much pain to feel, oh, I have to change. I need to do something else. There is something more that I need to do to pass this past of mine. And that influence that always comes back, it was like always the past coming in my presence. And so I want to challenge myself, not only because I wanted to, I didn't have an option. I I blocked, like literally my body blocked, and I fell off the stairs in a few years' time, two times, very hard. And my back was broken, not literally broken, but there was something broken, and it caused me so much pain that I was living in my couch for months, year after year. And it was always the 1st of April that my body did like, it was not an April fool. Absolutely not. My body just did like that. I fell always on the ground. I couldn't move. It was so much pain. It was nerve pain. It was so intense. Um, and it always stayed for over the summer, and then bit by bit I could start to move again, and it was horrible. And then the doctor one time said to me, Lise, there's nothing we can do for you. You are too young. It is that problem. We can't do an operation. The I don't know the word in English, but the medication that we give you is not okay. It doesn't help enough. It is like this. You have to live your life. You have to change everything you can, and this will be what you are. And in that moment, I was for him. Um, I was a pain patient. I came to his clinic to release, re- get a little bit relief of the pain, so I could function a little bit as a mom, and as a worker, a woman who has to pay her bills. So I started to change my life. I started with just simply doing yoga at my house at night when the kids were here. I put on the internet. I still thank Adrian with yoga with Adrian, I think. I still thank her because she doesn't know who I am, probably never will. But what the yoga did with my body give me release, relief, strength to get into the next steps. And I went to my therapist, and he said one time, Lise, what you're looking for, I cannot afford anymore. You are looking for something more. And that is not me anymore. So he said to me, Lise, I followed a course, and me as a scientist, I don't get it. I don't get it. It is very hard for me when I made that woman's life very, very hard. But I think it's something for you. So I went to that course, and it was like talking with your underconscious mind, your body, and asking answers. And that was the first time I started to work on a very different level with my parents. Um, and it was so magical. It was not only my parents that I had to work with. It all was also was I worked with my um, our first son who is born but couldn't stay alive. It was like wow, the guilt I was feeling as a mom that I couldn't give him a life that he could live, that was that was giving me so much pain. I didn't realize that. You know, the moment I could tell him, I'm so sorry that I am the cause of your death. I am so sorry. It was like a weight falling off. So that was the first time I felt like there is so much more that we are not conscious about that blocks us. And that's the fault part in my company name, because it's not only going into the outside world and take action and go out of your comfort zone. Yeah, that's a part of it. But we have to go inside and look what are we still carrying along with us that blocks us so much. And then it came a journey. It was it was amazing. How many patterns I had, so many um, um, destructive loyalties with my family that was so intrusive for me. And then I started to realize I'm not the only one with backbones. In my mother's family, the, I really think I have to start and look very, very, very hard to find one uncle or one aunt who hasn't has back pain. My mom has it, my brother has it, my sister has it. We all have back pain. And then I started, to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And my life started to change. I am very thankful for my therapist because he helped me through a time that was very hard, and I wasn't ready for this kind of, these are my to-do lists. They make me nuts. I wasn't ready for that kind of switch to fold. So he got me through a very difficult time in my life, but I am also very thankful that he was ready to let me go and to push me into a whole new direction. And now I have my own company, and I work with women, with men, with people, with teams, with entrepreneurs, because I really like to work with entrepreneurs because, oh wow. Any case, I see so many personal um, personal stuff that is not in our conscious mind that blocks us all the time, day after day. It's our wounds from our family. That what our father did, what our mother did, what their fathers did, what their mothers did. And there is a research with a rat, and they give her a shock, and when they play a certain sound, and then they start to um, make babies. Huh? Seven generations later, when they play the sound, the rat has the same reaction as the mother 7 generations back. You know, it's our limbic brain, it's our amygdala, it's our that is so intrusive. We it makes that we humans are this powerful as we are. But it also tells us that there are so many things we take along with us that we don't realize anymore. We forgot that. Our sweet church in Belgium, but in a lot of countries, made a lot of beautiful stories disappear. How do you let go of subconscious loyalties that distract you or that lead you in different ways? And we are so adjust to other people. We conform so many times to what we think that the people around us want us to be, to need, that we don't know anymore who we are. We don't even know anymore who we are because we don't have stories about our background. How many people know the stories about their families for 4 generations ago? There are a lot of people that we call tribe people and all those that sit around the fire. They told each other. They knew where they come from. We still know where they come from. We don't. We live in our house with our little family and we think we can do it all by ourselves, but we don't know where our roots are. And with family constellations, we get that free. We get access to our roots. And how difficult is it to be flower if you don't know your roots? Because a rose needs different food than uh, another kind of flower. So, what kind of food are you looking for? We don't know that anymore. So, we just eat something and we hope that it's enough. And the flower in us is really trying, but it's not what we exactly need because we don't know where we come from. So I started my journey as an entrepreneur a few years ago. It was a real challenge. It was a real challenge because I got so many patterns in my life that just stuck me. And it was so many things that I needed to look at first, but I didn't know it. So in my company, I take the people with me. We go on a journey together to insight what is happening there and how affects it you in the outside world. Because that one colleague that really irritates you, it says something about you. If your company is constantly like here on the edge, are we going to can we pay everything or not? It says something about you and about your mom because financial issues is a lot of time related to the early mother child bond. and that is wounded. If we, if you still have the feeling you have to prove yourself constantly to be seen, it says something about you and your father. But not only that, it's not only the family, it's also our culture. Like I said before, I can do 10 podcasts about the church and what they did to us, in what we think about ourselves and how we think the world is. They have a very, very big influence still now. But it's also the wars. Can you imagine? It's not 7 generations ago that there were two major wars, and there is still a lot of pain and war in the world. It affects us. A few months ago, I think I had some entrepreneurs here, and they were like stuck. They couldn't. They had the feeling I can't move. It's like I'm stuck. I'm present. I don't. I don't have a feeling I can do what I want to do. So I feel a lot. I really feel a lot. It was for me a whole intense process to acknowledge that I feel so much, which is also a trauma response, a gift, but a trauma response. And I felt, okay, this is to do with the Holocaust. The moment I dropped that, I saw the entrepreneurs like, they were like, oh no, no, the resistance was so big. But that is amazing because resistance brings electricity, that brings light. If I just feel like, oh, they're like doing no, Lisa, then I know I'm on the right path. Come on, you guys. And if there's something I like, is confrontate and push you over limits. I do that with myself every single day. Every single day. I just like it. It's not always fun. So we did that. So the constellation we did that day, it was it's people, it's our entrepreneurs who are in the they take along with them me for a year. So they are used to, they are really connected already. They can feel a lot. I did a lot of work with them already. And we the constellation was a gas chamber, a gas chamber with a lot of people and a security guard. And we did a constellation that was so, so, so intense. That was that was mind blowing. I really like personal connection, that's why I am high end coach and I cannot do 10 people a day, not because I go very deep, but also because I want to take them on a real journey deep inside them, in their core, in their roots. So I talk to them and I ask them, how are you feeling? Turns out we all, including me, we were all sick. Sick in that thing that we were all having problems with our stomach and we were on the toilet. All of us. On the, and almost on the same time. So that was such a relief, because in the constellation we saw that they just programmed in their head, I cannot escape. And if I escape here in this room, I just go to outside, but it's still war, it's still horror. And it's not their story, but it's still in our culture wound. It's not fixed yet, you know? We have to still fix it emotionally, energetically. We still have to heal a lot of things. And that's why we are the generation that has to step up for the next generation. You know, my mother, she had some skin and she tried to really like go out in the phase of we have to just try to live like the generations before in the war. They just have to survive. They were in survival mode. And past generation, the generation of my mom, my father, they didn't have to survive anymore, but they had to make, they had to make the basic. And a lot of people have invested in their house, in food, the economy. And now it is our job, and that's my opinion. We have to start healing all the rest because they made the foundation. And now it's up to us to start doing that for us and for the next generation, for my daughter, for my son. And I started my process for my daughter and my son. I really wanted to be the last. I wanted to be the last that was drawn in the past, in traumas, in, in so many forms of abuse. I wanted to be the last. I did it for them. I'm still doing it for them. But when I see, when I feel, it makes me emotional. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Um, but if I feel now what it has done for me as Lise, as a human being, as a woman, it's so amazing. And every day again, I take off a layer and I recognize a new part of me that I was forgotten or that I never knew that existed. And I am so happy to every day again and again and again to say to myself, oh my God, Lise, it's so nice to meet you. I am never, I have never been so happy. I never felt so free in my life like now. Never. Although being an entrepreneur on your own is not so easy. You have to be like everything, marketing, sales, CEO, bookkeeper, everything, sometimes it's a lot of stress, I just feels I can't breathe. My father is lying in the hospital, will he survive, will he not survive? Doctors doesn't know. He's already fighting for his life for weeks and it still is going. My kids have their issues. My husband is like very very tired with everything that he wants to accomplish in his life. We're making an extra place, my space, the unfold space, we're building it. So there's so much on my plate, but I feel so powerful. I feel so happy. And that's because I made the travel inside of me. And I can talk for hours. That's very clear, I think, for you guys now. But I want to end this with one sentence. Your outside world is a projection of your inside world. Your outside world is a projection of your inside world. So everything that's going on in your life, on this moment, in your outside world, that eats you up, that irritates you, that frustrates you, that makes you angry, people going over your boundaries, people doesn't respect you, people who doesn't listen to you, doesn't feel you, don't hear you. It's a projection of your inside world. And you cannot control your colleague, your boss, your partner, your kids, but you can go inside. Do the fault, do the fault trip, the fault journey. And then there comes a day, and I really hope you all experience it already now, or you will experience it. You feel a core strength like I do now. There is so much wrong in my life. So big issues, items, situations, but you feel centered and strong. Your inside world needs you. You need to look at it, feel it, and your outside world will change dramatically for the good, for the better. I will leave you. Thank you so much for listening. And it would make me very happy if you have questions, remarks, or things that you say from all these, but for example, in my company, this, or in my life, that, and da, 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 da. What is your perspective? As someone who's an expert in traumas, in family patterns, in collective wounds, intergeneral patterns. What do you think about that? What that says it about me? I really love to share it and to share it with you. And if you want to share this podcast, this video with someone, and you think, oh my God, this is amazing, just do it. And if you want to talk with me to see if what I can do for you, you are welcome. Just send me a message and we'll talk. Bye bye. And now I'm going to laugh until the video is done.